and he has a new mission report to give us. It is Friday, August 25. So welcome, JP, to Exopolitics Today.
How you doing, Doc? I got a new mic, so I'm really happy. Maybe people can hear me clear, and I'm going to try my best to bring this information out. I got the green light, so let's go. Let's do this.
Okay, great. Well, I'm glad you got the new mic. That does help with the sound quality. And so you told me that you have a new mission to report. So yeah, I'll give you the stage.
Okay, we started this mission Wednesday. This Wednesday, we went out. It was a total of 10 guys. We were dressed in civilian clothes, and we got all picked up at the Air Force Base. So we all met up at the Air Force Base. We got picked up by a van, and it was a total of 10 guys. We were all squeezed in a van, and we went out like an hour. We went an hour out. It was still daytime. You know, everybody was suited up. Well, we did have our vests on, but we were still in our civvies, and we had our boots on because they told us that was part of what we had to wear. So whatever they tell us to wear, we wear. So they say civvies with boots. All right, cool. Best bet. So we went with civvies with boots, and there's a couple Brazilians, a couple Spanish people with us in the mission. They were part of the group of 10. The driver, he was also part of the group. So we went in the remote woods area, and we parked the van, and one of the guys dropped the Asman, and he took out his compass, and he said, "Hey, everybody, come around." So he was a higher ranking NCIC in charge for the mission. So he gathered everybody, and he had a little paper with a little map, and he says, "Hey, we have to go to this location." And we all had our type of M4, you know, that was suited up. And I said, "How far is this location?" "Oh, it's going to be a 1 hour walk. So keep your pace, you know, your step pace, and let's see, you know, be careful with the wild pigs and be careful with the bears." So we started walking. We left the van parked, and 20 minutes in walking, we saw a black bear, and we stood still. And when you see a black bear, you have to, you know, really stay still, and you don't want to really hurt the bear or do nothing. So the bear really went close to one of the guys, and the guy was really nervous. The bear looked at us, and they're really smart animals, you know. They saw the M4. They saw the type of weapon we had, and it turned around and left running. After that, a black helicopter went over to the same direction where we were heading, like saying, "Hey, keep walking, keep going. We know you're in this mission, and you guys got to keep going." So I didn't really know what the mission was about, but we kept walking. We kept walking in the woods, and keep following the guy. We were spacing out. One of the guys said, "Hey, I need to use the restroom. I need to do number one. Wait for me." So we stopped. This was 35 minutes in. He did whatever he needed to do, and we heard a loud screaming noise. It was not no bear. It was not no type of animal that we know, not unless if it was another human. But we heard a loud scream, high-pitched loud scream. And we all looked at that direction, and one of the guys says, "Hey, don't mind that. Keep going." And one of the other guys was like, he was like really scared, I guess. I never seen him before. I think it was his first mission. And he said, "Oh, what the heck is that?" And I'm like, "Yo, calm down, you know, calm down. Just let's keep walking." So we got to the location. It was an open location. There was a cabin. There was a cabin there. So this cabin was the size of a porta potty. It was really small. You know, 3 times the size of a porta potty. So it was a small cabin. And one of the guys opened the door, and he's like, "Okay, we're all going in." And one of the other guys Jake. He said, we're not going to fit in there. What the hell's going on? What's going on? He says, hey, this goes down. So keep your eyes open and let's keep following us. So Jake was in front of me, and there was another guy behind me. He never said his name. The guy behind him was Robbie. So we had Jake and Robbie. Those are the only two guys I know that went with us that I know by name. The other guys didn't give out their names. So I knew Jake and Robbie. Robbie, he was really scared. I think that was his first. That's the guy I was telling you that was his first mission. Jake, I've been in a couple missions with him, so he really knows what's coming, and Robbie does not know what's coming. So we enter into this cave system, not cave, but it's like a ramp that goes down, right? It goes like 30 degrees down, and when you open this cabin, you go into this hole into the ground, and we start going down, and it starts getting wider to 10 feet wide. A total of 2 people can walk down together. So it was a total of 10, so we walked in rows of 5, but 2 by 2. And we kept going down, and we saw these lights connecting to the side and side, and there were electrical lights, and they were flickering while we were going down the cave system. It's not a cave, but it was like a hallway. There it is. It was a hallway that kept going 30 degrees, but when we kept going down, it kept going down to like 40 degrees, and we felt it, because we had water with us. We had medical equipment just in case crap hit the fan. We always have everything what we need. We got our MREs. We don't know what type of mission or how long we're going to be doing this mission. We don't know if it's a practice mission. We don't know. When we go to these missions, we don't know what to expect. So we go prepare.
So just to clarify there, so you started off 10 guys, all in civilian outfit and just boots. You get in this van, it drives an hour, and in the van, I guess you have you changed into some sort of suit. They had the...
no, we didn't change. We didn't change to no suit. We had our boots, and we stayed in civilians. We just had our vest on.
So the M4s and the food supply and all of that was all in the van.
Couple bags. A couple guys had their flakes, and
so just a couple of big bags with the guns in them in the van.
Yeah, we had 3 guys that had their ruck. So they like to carry their shit. So it's normal in the military world. We like to carry our stuff to be safe. We don't know what to expect. So they told us, hey, you're going to a mission. So we don't know if it's a practice mission or a real mission, so just to keep us engaged mentally. That's how it is. Sometimes we have practice mission, and I don't even talk about it because it's just practice. But when they say there's a mission, we don't know if it's practice or a real mission. This was a real mission, and we figured that out when we entered into the tunnel. So I figured that out. I said, okay, this is going to be a real mission. So your heart is already like pumping, because man, what's going to happen? And you have other guys with you. So it's good when you go with a big group. When you go with a little group, you're like, shit, man, this is going to be bad. Man, we're going to be here for a long time. So in these missions, Doc, when we go on a small group, I know it's going to be long. It's going to be a long mission. But when there's a big group, it's a fast-paced mission. So we're going down this ramp inside this hallway that keeps going all the way down. And it goes down. We started going down like for maybe 45 minutes. And after 45 minutes, we look at the walls, and the walls start turning granite. Like they start turning like an ancient granite type of wall. So first it was like a dirt type of concrete wall, and then it turned into a granite wall. And this is going down deep inside the location of the base. So this is still in the location of the base. So the base is huge, As you know, you've been there. But there's locations that we do.
So this log cabin that you described, that's actually on the base that you took me to. So
Mm-hmm.
was it? Okay. And just for people that don't know, JP took my wife and I to this military base where he serves and gave us a tour, and that was back in March of this year.
I'll give you the location, but just for you to keep a file later on, just for you to have an idea on the location, because they have a lot of ranges, they have a lot of different places that, just like Nevada, it's huge. So we started going down, we started seeing granite, marble, the walls, the light changed. It was like it started off yellow, and then closer to where we were heading, it was turning blue, the light. And it was a different type of light. It wasn't electrical. It was more like a liquid type. It was like a ball, and inside the ball you could see the liquid, and that liquid was fluorescent. It was lighting up. And when our bodies get close to this light, it lights up. So I guess the energy of our body lights up this particular light. So if you get close to this particular light and you do like this to your hand, it lights up like super bright. So I think is a type of liquid that when you get close to it, or any kind of electrical thing gets close to it, it lights up. So that's quite interesting. I haven't seen that before. One of the guys, he took one of these balls out and he held it in his hand. It was super bright on his hands, and he shaked it and it got brighter. And I asked him, "Hey, is it getting hot?" He says, "No, man, it's actually getting cold." I don't know, man. What is this? I said, "Bro, put it back." He actually let it fall, and everybody was like, "No, don't freaking do that." He let it fall, and it sounded like a glass, and it started rolling down the ramp. And the first guy stopped it. He got it back, and he gave it. Says, "Hey, put that shit back, man. What the hell, man? We're not here for that. Put it back where it's supposed to be." So he put it back, and he was like, "Man, but that shit's cool, man. That's awesome." I said, "No, we're not here for that. Just keep your head straight. Don't touch shit, and just keep moving." So we kept moving. They put it back, but it was cool. It was kind of cool because the thing that was holding it was made of stone, but it was open on the top. So it was a ball that had a liquid that type of liquid, when you get close to it, it's a beautiful type of technology if we do have it. If we did have it on top, So we kept going, and we got to this door. And the first guy was like, "Stand back. Let's get ready to get in." So we got to this door. This door was 8 feet tall. It was made of stone, like a granite stone. And it had an imprint of a hand that you could put in. So they called me to the front, and they said, "We need you." So I said, No. Grab the new guy. So he went to the front. I said, "Hey, you can do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to touch that." Sometimes you want to know who's with you, which new person is in your group, because everybody has a type of specialty or something that they know that nobody knows, So he was the new guy, and I said, "Hey, just go to the front and do what you need to do." So he understood what he needed to do. I don't know how or why, but he put his hand on. He went to it was facing 12 o'clock, right? So he pushed it in. He went to 1 o'clock. Then he went back to 11 o'clock. And then he went to 12 o'clock. And then he pushed in. And the door just went like a pressurized door that went in, and it went to the side, and you can hear it and it stopped. And we all looked at each other. We were like, "Oh shit, what was that? Oh man, that was cool. Oh man, you heard that?" And then we started smelling when you cut grass, when you first cut grass, that smell, that beautiful smell of cut grass, it went. We're like, "Oh man, this smells like grass. Oh, cool." So we entered and we looked to the front, and there was two big pillars made of granite, tall as shit. And everybody was like, whoa. We started getting in through the door, and everybody was like, wow, what the heck is this? Holy crap. And it was huge. So when you talked, I have a good mic, so I'm gonna show you how it sounded. So when we talked, it sounded like just like this. Like you can hear everybody like far away. It was like, hey. And we're like, whoa, this is huge. Like we were like astonished, like how the sound, and it was amazing, Doc. Like the type of the reverb of the place. So I said to myself, I said, hey, the reason is like that. So it's for sound and music, and it's a temple. I felt that it was a type of temple by the two pillars and all that. So when people talked, like if you sing and you do a certain tone with drums, it will sound like so amazing.
Can you describe the pillars? How tall were they? How thick? Were they made of marble?
Yeah, the pillars were made of marble, like a granite type marble. They were white and blue. The lines of the pillar was blue, and then the inner part of the pillar was white. So they were really beautiful pillars. It had a square on the bottom with triangles coming out on each side, and it was 6 by 6 feet wide, round, 6 by 6. So it was like 12 feet round each pillar. They were huge. They were big, and they were like 30, maybe 35 feet high. Really huge. There was two pillars. We kept walking. There was two more pillars. A total of 4 pillars. So in the end of the pillar, there was a sarcophagus. How you say it? Sarcophagus?
Sarcophagus.
There we go. Oh, man. Yeah. Is it okay for me to say something in Portuguese and Spanish for the people that are watching?
Sure.
Para todos que están escuchando ahora, quiero explicarle esto lo que me pasó. Estaba debajo de una tierra y estaba en un tipo de templo bien grande. Para que ustedes entiendan, para todos que están en Brasil, mucho obrigado por los comentarios. Para todos que están en América Latina, gracias por los comentarios que me hablan. Yo leo todos y estamos cerca a la verdad. Para todos que estão no Brasil, obrigado por comentários que vocês. Eu leio tudo que vocês põem e a gente sabe que a verdade já vai ficar. Está muito pronto, está muito perto. So, para todo o Brasil, obrigado. Todo que fala português e espanhol, gracias para escuchar esta información que está saliendo. Y confiamos que todo va a salir bien. So basically what I said in Spanish and English, I want people to understand that sometimes my English is bad because I got a mixture of like 3 or 4 languages in my head. So my pronunciation of English words are really, really bad. But I speak Spanish and Portuguese fluently in my household. So I just want people to understand that, just in case, people are like, oh, he's uneducated, oh, this and that. But just for them to put in mind that I got a total of like 4 or almost 5 languages in my head, and that I speak in my household, just to teach whoever's living in my household as well these languages. So I said to the people in Brazil and Latin America that I'm really happy that they are listening. And I know that sometimes it's hard, but I read every comment sometimes, and I totally understand where they're coming from, because people in Brazil and Latin America are going through, they are seeing certain things that are similar to what I go through. So it's really interesting when I read because a lot of people give feedback. So, lo que yo quiero decir también en español, que no paren de escribir sus experiencias también. Se você está no Brasil, você está passando experiência também, vocês podem escrever também suas experiências. E a gente está lendo tudo, tá? Muito obrigado, muito amor, e a gente espera escutar de vocês, tá? So I just said that I'm really happy that they write also, because they also, as you know, Doc, they write in Portuguese and they write in Spanish. So that's really awesome. And sometimes they write that they're going through the same experience and that they go through certain things that are said in your interviews with certain people and me. So I'm really happy that South America and Europe, speaking people in Portuguese and Spanish, that they're really listening to our information, because this is not only happening in the United States, this is happening in different countries as well. So back to the mission. I'm sorry about that, but I just wanted to clear that out.
Okay, no problem. You saw this sarcophagus just past the other two pillars. So you passed two pillars, another two pillars, and then there's a sarcophagus.
So we got close to the sarcophagus. I don't know why I can't say it.
We know what you mean, so just keep going.
All right. Yeah, it was a big box. So we got close to this big box. And and when we got close to it, it was huge. It was 12 feet long by 6. So it was a big one. And it had a lid on top. It's really heavy, like 2,000 pounds. And when we got close to it, and behind the pillars, they had these big balls. And they had these liquid inside of it. And they started glowing like bluish white and getting brighter when we were getting close to it. So we heard another door opening behind it. And it was the same sound. And it started moving to the side. And total of 10 beings came out dressed in white robe, came out in line. And we're like, holy shit, who are these people? We got tied up, and we just get calm. So one of those guys came close, and our first guy, our answer IC, went close to that guy, and they started talking. I'm like, okay, cool, they know each other, awesome. Who are they? They had black type of boots, and they had white robes. Similar, they look like it's like a samurai. Similar look to them. They were Oriental looking, but their eyes were a little bit bigger. They had black hair, but they had a really pale skin. So their eyes were slightly bigger, and their nose were really small. And their mouth was like the size, really small. Oriental. They look Asian, So one of them started speaking Portuguese. And then one of the guys that knew and me, we started listening to them. And they were saying, a gente está no Brasil também. Você sabe aonde, que tipo de... I don't know, he starts talking about like that. He says, we are in Brazil too. And he was asking if we ever seen this before. And then another person from over there started speaking Spanish as well, in their group. And they started speaking loud. Hey, ustedes saben dónde están la otra piedra que nosotros podemos pasar. And we started communicating in Spanish as well. So they knew Spanish and they knew Portuguese. And we also knew Spanish and Portuguese. But the NCYC, he knew some other Asian. I think he knew Chinese, a type of Chinese, I don't know. But I think it was an ancient type of Chinese. I don't know what type of language it was. It sounded like Chinese, but it was like, I think it was like a more ancient type of Chinese. And he started talking to the other guy. And we started just talking back, and we all sounded like, Y ahí, todo bien, no, no. ¿Cómo está? Oh, no, la piedra que está por allá. Ustedes. But we kept a distance to each other. And we were talking, communicating each other because they were asking, oh, did you see a certain kind of rock? Were you coming down? Did you felt something weird? Because for them, they still think that they were in the bottom of Brazil. So something happens that when you pass through this door that is like, shh, you go somewhere else. So it's another place that you go to instantly when you pass these doors.
So the doors are really portals.
They're like a type of portal.
So you got in through a portal door under that base, and when you walk through that portal door, it took you to someplace. So the temple underneath, the big temple you saw, the pillars and the sarcophagus, that's not necessarily under the base where you started from. It could be anywhere, and the same.
It could be anywhere. It could be anywhere.
Guys, the 10 guys that came through the other place, that they may have started off in Brazil. So this could be anywhere.
Yeah. These guys, they came out somewhere from the Amazon. They said a location from the Amazon. I don't know people that look like that in the Amazon. But they say that their location was somewhere in the Amazon that is not disclosed for people yet. So they were asking that, and we were like, no, we're in Florida. And they were like, no, but we're in Brazil. And right there, we understood that we were somewhere else, that it was far away from wherever we were at. And on the other side, we heard another door. It opened. 10 more people came in. We were like, holy crap, what's going on? Like, and these people they're black, Africans from Africa. But they were dressed different. They didn't have a lot of clothes on, and they came in also. And they started speaking French, and one of our guys started speaking French to them, asking them, hey, where are you guys from? And they said that they spoke like 23 other dialects of different languages. Somebody in their government told them to go through here, and we kept asking them what country in Africa were they from, but they wanted to keep that a secret. They didn't want to tell us where were they from, but they're saying that they got guided by their government to come in here. So they got forced in a way to come in here, to come into the location. Now there's a total of 30 people inside this temple place. The people that came from Brazil started talking to the Africans with different dialect that they knew, and they were communicating. 2 of the other guys knew the dialect, and they kept communicating. I did not understand. So our guy in charge, he told everybody to come in. So we all started getting close to these big balls that had liquid, and he said, hey, let's get close to these balls, everybody that's here. So we all got close to this ball, and we felt like the gravity was leaving. Like the gravity was getting really light. And one of the guys started jumping, and you really jump like 2 feet. But this guy was jumping. He started jumping. He's like, hey, bro, I feel lighter. So he took his rucksack off, and he threw it up, and it went up like 20 feet, and it came down soft, and he caught it. He was like, bro, what the hell's going on? What's going on? And the gravity started leaving, but we could still walk. So I guess the gravity, like 65% of the gravity left of the place that we were on. So
what was in the sarcophagus? Were you told anything about the sarcophagus?
Well, yeah, everything started getting light. Like the gravity started leaving, and the lid that was 2,000 pounds was all of a sudden like 300 pounds, like lighter. Like it was really light. And it took like probably like 20 guys to lift it up. like 18, 17 guys to lift it up. So we lifted it up because one of the guys from Brazil, they were like, hey, a gente tem que fazer esse jeito. Like, we need to do it in this way. Like, he knew what he was doing. So we had to push it out and then grab it without breaking. He says, no quebra no, no quebra no. He was like, don't break it, don't break it. And the other guy was like, no lo rompa, no lo rompa. And then one of the other guys, he was like, mue manger. Like he was hungry or something like that. He was saying that. So he started eating food that they brung. It was like a dried meat that he had. And we moved the lid, right? And it stunk. And it was the worst smell I ever smelled in my freaking life. I was gagging. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? What is this? What's in here? Two, like 6 of our guys almost started throwing up with the smell. It was really terrible. And we moved it, and we looked in. It was a big skeleton. Whoever was in there was really huge. He was like 10 feet tall, around there. Huge. His skull was like 3 of mine. Like, his skin was, I guess, dark, but when when you die, I guess you turn dark, I guess. He had red hair. The skin was like a blackish gray. The skull, you can see the skull. His eyes were synced in. And he had, we saw it was dead. Whatever it was. It's funny because you text me a picture of a king that the next day that happened. I'm like, man, why is he asking me this question after this mission? That was so weird. That was like so synchronized.
It's a picture that I saw circulated years ago that was supposedly of some giant king or a king, an ancient king in some kind of stasis chamber.
Okay. But this guy was not in stasis. This guy was dead. This guy was totally dead. Totally dead.
And you say the skin was there, you could see the skeleton and all of that. I mean, how long are we talking about? I mean, obviously, a body that's been there for 1,000 years.
Well, it still stunk. It still stunk. So I don't know how many years a body can be stinking. Maybe the stench was like there until we opened it. It was open till we opened it, and it stunk like that. It stunk like when you find a dead frog somewhere and it's like laying around. It smelled like really bad, man. Really bad. Doc, it was a bad smell. So we all had to look. Everybody looked at it, and everybody was like, wow, look at that. He had a lot of type of jewelry. Similar to that picture that you showed me, but he had more type of like jewels with him. And the jewels had different shapes, and it was placed by his arms. These jewels was on top of his arms, and it was placed there. It was black jewels, it was red jewels. His head, he had red hair, and he had jewels behind him. And on his chest, he had a big jewel, really nice, the shape of a diamond, but elongated diamond. It was nice jewels. One of the guys took the jewel, and our guy said, hey, don't touch that shit, put it back. And they started arguing because they wanted to take it with them, the Brazilians. And we said, no, leave it as it is. We need to put this back. Because sometimes when you open something like that, you activate something else. So in our side, in our experience on the arcs, usually things happen when you kind of like open something else. You activate something else. So we were not scared, but we were worried that if we take anything out, especially if it's like a type of jewel, that it will activate something around the hallway or anywhere heading back home. So he's like, yo, leave it as it is. So the The Africans, they were like, put it back, put it back. We're putting everything back, and they started dancing around it, similar to when the Mayans, Mexicans were dancing in the Ark. It was like a similar dance, and they started dancing around the box, and they were like singing something different, and the lights started getting really bright, so everybody started standing back, and the gravity started coming back. And when we look up, we see a round symbol that is round and it spirals in, and it starts getting bright as well. And then we started feeling heavy. We started feeling like you can see our faces coming down. I think I weighed probably like 400 pounds by the weight that we were feeling. Some of the guys even sat down because we felt like we were like really, really heavy. So whatever was happening, it was getting reversed. Then I don't know what happened, but the thing got pushed out, the lid, and we heard a big, big yell, like really low, like it started echoing like similar to like when the monks they sing, they do their meditation like we all heard that coming out from the box. So whatever was there came back alive. I don't know how. I don't know what technology or what magic or what happened there, but the NCOIC, yo, let's get the hell out of here right now. We need to get out of here. So we went back. It was not scary, but it was weird what we were feeling. The reason we decided to go back is because we were feeling weird. I never felt like this before. It was not like a sense of peace. It was weird.
So when you say it was coming back to life, are you talking about that giant, that dead giant was coming back to life? You could see things happening with it?
The lid came off by itself. And we heard a low tone voice coming out from the box. And we just got the hell out of there, Doc. And the Brazilians, they just ran back out. And we heard like big like thumps, like, and then we started hearing thumps and echoes, and the Africans, they kept dancing. The guy in charge of our squad, he decided to go back. So we went back, and we were flashing the lights because it was dark. Everything was dark. One of the balls was broken. We don't know how the ball was broken, but we started getting close, and the liquid in the floor, when we were getting close, it was getting bright. So when we look inside, everybody gets back. We look inside, it was empty. There was nothing there. The box was empty. All the jewels, everything was gone. There's no way in the 10 minutes that we went back and forth that somebody took that out or got rid of it. So everything that was in the box disappeared. And we were like, shit, man, what the hell is this? What the hell we just did? Like, what do we do right now? Who is this person that woke up? Where is he at right now? Who is he? And what's happening? So it was a type of activation that we did to wake this particular person up. So we started heading back. We head back, and we were in shock. We were like, who is this particular person that we woke up? And that was it, Doc. That was the mission. It was a type of activation of somebody that was dead for a long time.
So the NCO who was in charge of the mission, he knew what the goal was. I mean, you guys didn't know, but he knew that you had to go down through that tunnel, through that doorway, and that there was some kind of temple complex somewhere that the portal took you to, and in there was a sarcophagus with a giant in there. He knew all of that.
Yeah, he knew. He knew. He knew more about the mission that we knew. But we were confused going back home. We were like, hey, what happened? He didn't want to talk about it as much. He didn't want to say nothing. But he said, hey, we just activated something. It's okay. He needed to be activated. We got other nations involved with this type of activation. And I was like, man, I need more information when we go to these type of missions, what's happening. So I got the green light to talk about this, because this is not only happening here in the US, but it's happening in Brazil, it's happening in other nations in Africa, Europe, Russia, China. Certain groups are getting together and they're activating certain things that I guess is for the better, good for it to activate.
Yeah, I know in the past you've told me about missions to the Ant Kingdom where they had the sleeping giant there, and you said that the giant was protected by the ant people. You said there was also a sleeping giant in a stasis chamber in Nippur, in Mesopotamia or Iraq, that was also protected by people, by an army. You also said that there was one in Slovenia, I can't remember, the Pez Mountain or something like that, protected by an army. So was there any, it seemed that this giant that was in that sarcophagus, there wasn't any protection for him.
No protection for him. He was a loner. But whoever he was, I think he was important.
Yeah, that sounds strange. So he didn't have any protection. He was a loner, but he was important. Interesting. Well, what makes you say that?
Like, the place itself, when the gravity left, you felt vulnerable. You felt like if somebody punches you, you'll fly like 20 feet. And then when it became really heavy, you could not move. You felt like 400 pounds. You're like exhausted. So for me, the temple itself was a type of protection for this particular body. The technology that this temple had was different. It was a type of protection for me. That's the way I perceived it, because we couldn't move, we couldn't do nothing when it got heavy, and that's when the lid came off, when it was heavy. So we were like,
so with the temple, you said that there were 4 pillars that were all about 35 feet tall, about 12 feet in circumference.
yeah,
and that they were white marble. Now, was the sarcophagus inside of the rectangle shape formed by the 4 pillars, or outside?
it was outside. So we come in, right, and there's 2 pillars, and then there's a second pair of pillars, and you keep walking, and the box is right in front on top of a step, it looked like an altar type, and it was like right in front. So you got 2 pillars, and then right in front on top of the step, and you had these big balls with liquid that when you get close to it, it gets really bright. That same technology. I don't know if that liquid exists, or it's a type of electrical type of, it feels the vibration of living things, I guess, and it turns bright.
Mm-hmm. So with this giant there, I mean, you said you had a strange feeling. Now there are some people who say that there's a lot of giants that are awakening and that they're evil, and other people are saying that there's giants that are sleeping that are kind of like good, positive, like benevolent Anunnaki scientists that are helping humanity. So did you get a feel for what this this giant that you saw, that 10-foot, 12-foot giant, red hair, did you
It
get
was a weird feeling. It was all our hairs were going up. It was a feeling of worriness. It was a weird feeling. It wasn't. I didn't like the feeling.
Now, I remember you describing the feelings you had when you're in front of the giant in the ant kingdom there in Florida, near the Ponce de Leon springs there. You said, as I recall, maybe correct me, that you said it was a more positive feeling.
Yeah, you felt peace. You felt more peace. He was sleeping. He was in peace, but I know he was on a different time because where he was inside, time was different. Now, this particular guy that we saw, he was dead. He stunk. And then to hear a loud voice and the lid coming off, it really shook us.
All right. Yeah, this giant stunk, but you heard the voice, the lid came off, and then you guys skedaddled, and when you came back, there was nothing in the sarcophagus, so...
Nothing there.
The assumption is that the giant somehow resuscitated and walked out.
I don't know where he walked out. The jewels wasn't there either. Everything disappeared. But the stench was still there. The smell was still there in the box. So we decided to go. And then that's when the NCOIZ in charge said, yeah, it was a type of activation and all that. So we got out. We closed it. We closed the cabin. We walked back to the bus. And we were seeing these orbs, these lights flying above us, like left to right. And we were looking up and we were like, yo, you guys see that? I said, yeah, we see that. That's crazy. And these orbs were yellow and blue in color. They were just going left to right over us, like left to right. And we were like, man, what the hell we just did? Oh, man. We were like puzzled. We were like confused of what happened. And the people that we saw, we were like, man, what was happening? A couple guys coming back home got really sick. They got really sick and they didn't feel good. They didn't go to work the next day. I haven't seen these guys in 2 days, the guys that got sick. So I don't know where they're at, what's happening with them. I haven't checked up. Maybe Monday I'll check up on them to see, but I haven't had no feedback or no information on these guys that got sick.
Okay, so somehow this mission led to the activation of this dead giant, and he resuscitated somehow, and presumably he's now out and about.
Well, he disappeared. I'm not gonna say that we heard the lid come off. We heard a loud, low voice, but we did not see this giant alive. Okay, I just want to put that out there. I don't want people to think we're like this guy came from the dead and zombie or but whatever technology that temple has, I guess it has the capability maybe to turn back time or to change gravity and to somehow reactivate the cells or reactivate whoever is dead back to life.
I guess another possibility is that these bodies, these giants, are avatars, that they're kind of empty vessels, avatar bodies, and that the soul, when the time comes to reactivate that, the soul will come in from somewhere. If they detect that the body is not suitable or has died or decomposed, some technology can be activated to, like you said, reverse time, so that the avatar is restored, and then the consciousness can come in and they just continue with what they're supposed to do. So
yeah, Alex was talking about something like that, right? 𝐷𝐿𝐻?
Yeah, I think Alex, Elena, Danan also talked about that. that it's like that.
Oh yeah, we have that interview from last year that we did after the conference that we talk about that. So there was nothing there, and we came back home, and I got called to it. I said, "Hey, do you want me to talk about this mission?" He said, "Yeah, you can talk about that mission." And so we saw these orbs following us, and we went back to the van, and people got sick, and I haven't seen these people yet. It's kind of, I don't know, it was an interesting mission, and I just wanted to share with you guys.
Okay. Yeah, that is a fascinating mission.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, again, it's kind of...
My clothes still has the stench of that place. So...
Really? Okay, so you came home and your clothes carried the stench.
Yeah, it was bad.
Okay. Did your wife say anything?
Yeah, we put it to wash really fast.
Okay. All right. Anything you want to say about the last mission, the mission where you went to the Ark, the fourth mission to the Ark, and the technology, the crystal technology was taken out to be used for activating other arcs. Have you heard anything about that? Any update on that?
That type of crystal is right now in Europe. That's all I can say about that.
Okay. Good to know. All right. Well, I want to thank you again, JP, for giving us a mission report. Really good to know what's happening, and gives us a little bit more context on what's going on with these sleeping giants.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of them. And it's not only sleeping giants. There's sleeping humans as well that I'm thinking that they will be activated as well. When I say humans our size, like 6 feet, 5'11", that are sleeping as well in the same type of technology. So it's not just giants, because I guess the giants are considered the hierarchy, and then they had people under them that used to help them out, to lead us. So these people also are on type of chambers as well, and they're getting activated as well to lead, I guess, whatever is going to happen. And these arcs are actually moving now. That's another cool information. They're moving really slowly, but on the ground of the bottom part of the ocean. They're moving deeper they're moving really slow, like probably like 2 feet every 4 weeks, something like that. But they found out that they're moving because the location of where the ship is at on the GPS is moving as well. So it's not on the same
longitude, latitude.
Yeah, it's moving. Like 2 feet every 4 weeks is moving in deeper. Nobody knows why, but the one in the Atlantic is moving, and they found another arc in the Pacific. That's another good information that we got. But we're not involved in that arc. Thinking the Chinese are involved with that arc. They're not letting nobody get close to that arc. They're in charge of whatever. But I'm guessing they're needing help. And I guess there's like some type of meeting that they're having with other countries to see how to get inside this arc. I think they have got into that arc in the Pacific. And yeah, I never knew about that information, but they just disclosed that information to us.
They say where in the Pacific? The Pacific is huge.
By the Devil's Triangle.
Okay, so we're talking the South China Sea in that area.
So we have one by the Bermuda Triangle, and we have another one over there. So it's right by Taiwan. South from Taiwan, the Devil's Triangle. South from Hawaii. I know Hawaii has a corner of the Devil's Triangle, right? Or is it slightly out? Probably we could put a map out.
Okay, it's supposed to be south of Tokyo, the Devil's Triangle. Yeah, it's supposed to be south of Tokyo, going down by towards New Guinea, kind of like to the east of the Philippines, between the Philippines and Guam. Is supposed to be the Devil's Triangle. So you're saying somewhere in that area. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that's Pacific. That's the Pacific Ocean. Like, okay, well, that would make sense why China is trying to claim all of the South China Sea. There's a lot of,
and they're doing the fracking also around there, I guess, right?
I don't know about that.
They're building like an island or some shit like that.
Yeah, a lot of islands in the South China Sea. They're building those.
So, yeah, they told us that arc is similar. Is similar to the size to the Atlantic arc. And man, I don't know if I got the green light yet to tell you this.
Okay, well, it's okay. Well, be patient. Let's wait.
But I will ask more information about that particular arc because I think we are heading over there. We're going to do a mission over there to see because it's in national waters, but the Chinese, they got that area on lockdown, and they got like a similar. They got a lot of ships there, a lot of ships, but they don't have a ship like ours that is like donut shaped. They visited over here when we took out the jewel. They were also around that donut ship, their ships and all that. They were part of those different nations that were there when we took out that particular jewel from the Atlantic arc. I don't know if the Pacific arc has a similar jewel or it has a portal that can take anybody. I just don't think they activated. They probably activated like 30% of it, but I don't think they can go farther than that. Not unless particular people are with them, I think they're noticing that now. Because when they went down with us that day, the first time that we went down, and they tried to follow the Mayans in, they couldn't go in a particular point. And that point that the Mayans went in, it was like a 35% activation point. So I think they're also in that particular point over there because these ships are made the same way. It's like going into a Walmart, where the milk is, where the clothing and sell is, where the location of the places are. So entering these arcs, they're made the same way. The rooms are made the same way. It feels like it's like factory made, these arcs, because their map is the same way. So I know there's different type of civilizations that are in each different arc. Each arc has different civilization that has owned it, yes, but they're made the same way. So saying that means that each arc got different types of technology that will be activated different ways, but it's the same map inside the arc. It's the same way. That's for everybody to understand that.
All the arcs have a similar design, so if you know the design of one arc, you can find your way in another arc that's of a similar size.
Yes, Doc. It's the same. It's the same mapping.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of information for us today, JP. Again, thank you for doing that, and thank you for your service to your country.
No problem. It's my pleasure, and I hope this mic helped out. I hope people in Brazil hear this information, and people from Latin America that speak Spanish also hear this information, and I'm really happy to bring this out. I got green lighted, so yeah, I'm giving you this information. We're good. We're good to go. And just to share with people, I don't know, share love, share wisdom, connect with positive people you know that one person that's always motivated, connect to that person. You will have a beautiful day. Don't connect with negative people that always talking about storms and getting struck by lightning, you know? Connect with that one positive person, and I assure you that your day will be good. And if you're a positive person, always happy, spread the love, spread the wisdom, spread this information out, and remember, connect with positive people is always good. I leave that with you guys.
Thank you, JP.
No problem.